Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the broadcast. My name is Justice Knight, and I can't thank you enough for being here. I think I've started this broadcast or restarted it 30 times. Those of you who watch me know I do very little edits in my videos. But nonetheless, it was such an important topic, I didn't know how to start the introduction. So I guess we'll just take a stab at it. You saw my title, UN, Climate Lie, and Biblical End Times. Link, the Book of Enoch foreshadows. This has never been exposed. This extra biblical text exposes something that I don't believe anybody realizes. And that's because as our understanding of science and technology has advanced, or so-called advanced, there's new revelations that come to pass that can suddenly tie back to these extra biblical texts or scripture. And there's one paramount one that we need to discuss today. Before we go there, I'm going to ask you once again, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. Make sure the bell is checked and YouTube notifications are turned on. If you don't want to rely on YouTube to notify you, please go to the link now appearing just above my head. Click on it, put your email, and I'll only send you an email when I post a new video. Now, we got to get back to this. You'll see on your screen, World Meteorological Organization, the United in Science, from the United Nations, which is an entirely different discussion that we've had many times. We're going to try to just skim the surface here and go right to their statement. Climate change is the defining challenge of our time. The United Nations is saying it, then you have to be very concerned. I'm going to tie this overall agenda back to the extra biblical text of the Book of Enoch very quickly. This important document by the United Nations and global partner organizations prepared under the auspices of the Science Advisory Group of the Climate Action Summit features the latest critical data and scientific findings on the climate crisis. Science informs governments in their decision-making and commitments. I urge leaders to heed these facts, unite behind the science, and take ambitious, urgent action to halt global heating and set a path towards a safer, more sustainable future for all. Underneath us, underneath our guidance. We'll give you a nifty pie graph to show you all the horrible things happening. But when you see the UN post an agenda, be concerned. Whenever you see a movement towards the one world government, be concerned. When you see a pope promote the global pact, be concerned. Pope Francis invites political leaders to sign global pact. In the current situation, he states, of globalization, not only of the economy, but also of the technological and cultural exchanges, the nation state is no longer able to procure the common good of its population alone. Pope Francis told the Pontifical Academy of Social Science in May, while according to the principle of subsidiary, individual nations must be given the power to operate, however, or as far as they can. On the other hand, groups of neighboring nations, as is already the case, can strengthen their cooperation by attributing the exercise of certain functions of service to intergovernmental institutions, aka the UN, that manage their common interests. Our Bible is very clear that that's not okay. He received criticism from a cardinal, Cardinal Raymond Burke, who stated, in accord with the order written upon the human heart and does not make just and legitimate a single global government. He goes on, before the challenges of our time, there are those who propose and work for a single global government. That is, for the elimination of individual national governments, nation governments. He's talking about the UN, in my opinion, and this is directed at the Pope, in my opinion. So that all humanity would be under the control of a single political authority, said Burke, for those who are convinced that the only way to achieve the common good is the concentration of all government in a single authority, loyalty to one's homeland and patriotism has become an evil. And we see that here in the United States day after day. Purveyors of truth are vilified, demonized. Patriotism is made to be bad. That's why this order is so concerning. We know Revelation. We've seen the scriptures. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. But that is not what we're going to cover today. No, we're going to cover something that's never been exposed. In that extra biblical text that we spoke about, The environmental costs of renewable energy are staggering. If the world isn't careful, renewable energy could become as destructive as fossil fuels. Have you ever heard that before? We've covered the whole climate change, climate hoax before. Many videos, as you see here, climate hoax demolished. It's not true, the man-made hoax. World's biggest hoax destroyed. There's reasons we do that. There's reasons because we study this so deeply. And I'm going to expose to you another angle that nobody has. The limits of clean energy. If the world isn't careful, renewable energy could become as destructive as fossil fuels. This is one of the Origin articles. The conversation about climate change has been blazing ahead in recent months, propelled by the school climate strikes and social movements like Extinction Rebellion. A number of governments have declared a climate emergency, and progressive political parties are making plans at last for a rapid transition to clean energy under the banner of the Green New Deal. And why do you think they're doing that? We know the science is flawed. We know the agenda is flawed. We know this just continues in cycles throughout history. But why now is this taking such an evil route and accelerating so fast? I think I'm going to disclose to you why. This is a welcome shift, and we need more of it, but a new problem is beginning to emerge that warrants our attention. Some proponents of the Green New Deal seem to believe that it will pave the way to a utopia of green growth. Once we trade dirty fossil fuels for clean energy, there's no reason we can't keep expanding the economy forever. But my friends, that's not entirely true. The narrative may seem reasonable enough at first glance, but there are good reasons to think twice about it. One of them has to do with the clean energy itself. The phrase clean energy normally conjures up happy, innocent images of warm sunshine and fresh wind. But while sunshine and wind is obviously clean, the infrastructure we need to capture it is not. Far from it. The transition to renewables is going to require a dramatic increase in the extraction of metals and rare earth minerals with real ecological and social cost. And guess what? Religious costs as well. This is the Origin study back in 2017, and really nobody paid any attention to it. The growing role of minerals and metals for a low-carbon future. Don't worry, I'm not going to go word for word. We're going to go very quickly because there's only one point in this article I need to show you. Using wind, solar, and energy storage batteries as proxies, the study examines which metals will likely rise in demand to be able to deliver on a carbon-constrained future. Exactly what the Green New Deal is all about. Metals which could see a growing market include aluminum, copper, cobalt, iron, ore, lead, lithium, nickel, and we don't need to go into the entire list. But the list of those metals is important. It goes into how they're going to increase depending on a 2 degree or 4 degree or 6 degree increase. And you'll see some of these metals illuminated here. Aluminum, copper, lead, nickel, iron, silver, all increasing because of these alleged clean sources of energy, but they require these minerals to produce the sources by which they can harvest the wind. They can harvest the sun. But they need to be extracted in great number from our Earth to create these wind towers, these solar panels, nuclear power, light-emitting diodes, electric vehicles, energy storage. You see the deception behind the entire agenda. How much of this, and you even see here, mounds, 34 million metric tons of copper, 40 million tons of lead, 50 million tons of zinc, 162 million tons of aluminum, no less than 4.8 billion tons of iron. Now, why is that critical? Because of this scripture right here, the 7 mountains and the elect one. This in the extra biblical text of the book of Enoch. And after those days in the place that I have seen all these visions, what does he see? The mountains which shine upon thine eyes have seen, the mountains of iron, the mountains of copper, the mountains of silver, the mountains of gold, and the mountains of soft metals, and the mountains of lead, those exact mountains we just talked about. All these shall be in the presence of the elect one as wax before the fire. They'll melt down. And why were those mountains there to begin with? Is this potentially us moving towards the end of times? Did this extra biblical text tell us exactly? Did it foreshadow exactly what's to come? My friends, I believe it has. And it's why I wanted to build your awareness to. Because all of these things, as it says at the end, shall be denied and destroyed from the surface of the earth when the elect one shall appear before the face of the Lord of spirits. That's how important these developments in technology and renewable energy are. And I hope I've opened your eyes to something that I believe nobody has ever uncovered to you. So until next time, Godspeed and God bless. My name is Justice Knight. Say a special prayer that the 7 metal mountains and the elect one and all these advancements in technology and clean energy, at least you are now aware, which is the key fact, so we know exactly what to do. The rest we will cover when we get into different levels of Scripture and how it pertains exactly to these same developments. I love you all. Thank you for being here. I look forward to your comments, shares, and likes. Please subscribe if you haven't. Until next time, my name is Justice Knight. And once again, I think it's important here. Godspeed and God bless. Signing out.